the and if you'd like to get us ready, our invocation today is from Lyle Brown, and our pledge is going to be led by Calvin Gephardt. So, Lyle.
Good morning. For invocation this morning, let us reflect on one of the greatest benefits of being a Rotarian, and that is friendship. As was written in the book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 15, a faithful friend is beyond price. There is no way to measure his worth. And as St. Augustine once said, friendship constitutes a country for those in exile, a fortune for the poor, a remedy for the sick, and a life for the dead. It provides pleasure for those who are well, strength for the weak, and a reward for the strong. And let us pray. Loving Father, grant us, the Rotarians of this club, as well as those throughout our nation and around the world, grant us the great grace to form true friendships. May our friends and we help one another to lead good lives and attain the happiness of those who serve you. Amen.
Please repeat the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Lyle and Calvin. So I wanted to let you all know that we had a board meeting on Wednesday, and one of the things that we'd like to do as a board this year is just share some of the highlights. I'm not going to share many because we're actually going to have some of the committee chairs come up during the meeting and talk about some of the plans for the year, but just to give, these board meetings are pretty exciting. So if you haven't been to one, we encourage you. First Wednesday of every month, dinner at 5:30. The meeting is from 6 to approximately 7 o'clock. And some of the highlights are that we had Rich and Amy review last year's financial results. We ended up like $12,000 in the red, but not to be concerned because that was by choice. We decided not to put the Polar Bear Golf Open proceeds into the club, and we left those in the foundation. So overall, very healthy financial results. And we also then voted to approve new signers for our bank accounts. So it's me and Susan West and Ingrid. And we voted to approve our banks, Fifth Third and Heartland. The foundation is meeting for the first time this year on August 3rd. We voted as a board to approve Dinky's designation, which all of you then received an email to for awareness of that. And then something really special, we voted as a board to make Rick Schwederman an honorary member, a permanent honorary member of the club. So looking forward to him receiving word of that. And our speaker committee had its first meeting this morning. And Wolf Land made really great progress this week with the India Water Project. And for those of you that remember, this was Mohan's project and has been in the works for a number of years. And a great milestone this week in that we signed a memorandum of understanding to kick off what's called a community assessment, which is the next step to actually being able to implement the project in India. And we're doing it in cooperation with a club in India, and Wolf is making great progress together with Sharon and others to potentially get a global grant that would greatly expand the funding that the Mohan had already collected. So those were kind of the news items fit to print at the board meeting. And as I said, some of the committee members are going to be coming up to provide some updates. Moving on to announcements. The first one, no, Andy, you don't get to go first. We have a very, very exciting day because we get to induct a new member. So I'm going to ask Claudia to come up and help us with that together with Jill. Don't trip over the board.
Yes, like asking me to. Very excited that we are inducting Jill Kranstruber into our club today. Jill is known to just about everybody in Dublin. She and her family are highly involved in the community, and Jill is the executive director of Dublin Bridges. So here's your name badge. We found it.
Thank you.
And Jill, if you would just give a couple of sentences about why you're joining Rotary.
Sure. Well, first of all, because you mentioned I know many people in this room, and I have a lot of respect for you, and I thought that's a good group to be involved with. Also, I have firsthand witnessed your kindness and generosity in this club with the grants to Dublin Bridges. So, I'm just thrilled to be a part of this group, and thanks for having me.
Okay, Andy has an announcement. Come on up, Andy.
All right, so,
Can you come up?
you should have
Andy, do
received
you
an
mind?
email from me on
Andy.
Wednesday regarding.
Hey, Andy, do you mind stepping up?
I'm ready to go. All right. Good morning. Morning. So Wednesday morning or afternoon, you should have received an email from me regarding Dublin Irish Days. It's going to look much different this year than in the past. I'm sorry for the days. We will not have golf carts, air conditioned or otherwise. Our responsibilities are very limited. It's limited to 2 shifts on Saturday, August the 7th, roughly 4 to 7:30 and 7 to 11:30. We will be serving alcohol much like we were at the Blarney Bash. More details to come. We need, at this point, 14 volunteers. We've got 2 folks already, 2 shifts filled. We've got 14 more. One thing to note is that like the Blarney Bash, we're going to have 4 folks up front serving and collecting payment. We will be using iPads with a square this year. So we want to make sure that any of the folks that are on the front lines are comfortable using iPads and the square. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Again, more details to come. You have the email that I sent on Wednesday. My contact information is there, so you can certainly direct any questions. Cell phone, email, whatever. Happy to talk you through it. If you're interested, you need to go online and do the alcohol beverage serving training before you can sign up for a shift. So you cannot sign up for a shift until you satisfy that educational requirement. Again, see me if you have questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah.
I have to say the online training for the beverage stuff it's like 10 minutes. It's super simple and it's a lot easier than when we used to have to go, to the rec center and attend the class. So other announcements. Dave, first this Dave. Dave.
So many
One of the
announcements.
Daves. Lots of Daves.
Dang.
Good morning, Rotary.
Good morning.
Want to let you know we've got another fundraising opportunity that's been presented to the club. Many of you may have been involved with it several years ago, but if you're an OSU fan, BMI Federal Credit Union is a parking location for a lot of folks that go to the game. They allow organizations like Rotary to use their spots and charge money for people coming in to park, and that money goes into our funds. So we are getting a chance for 3 games this year on September 11th, September 18th, September 25th. The September 11th game is a 12 o'clock noon game. The September 18th is 3:30 in the afternoon, and the one with Tulsa on the 25th is yet to be determined as exactly what time it's going to be. But there are 3 opportunities. We need 12 to 15 volunteers to help do either collect funds as they pull in, marshal traffic back to that, and then police the area to make sure we don't have anybody sneaking in and those kinds. It's a great opportunity for us to get about all the $20 per vehicle goes to us. So for that day, so we have a good chance to make pretty close to $3,000 if we're fortunate. So need the volunteers. We'll have a sign up sheet. We'll also work on getting the information posted online so you know what time and where and those kind of things. We have to show up about 4 hours early to make sure we isolate the lot and control the entry and that kind of thing. It's a good opportunity to learn some money. Hope to see folks there.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Dave Lundergan. And John Susan.
All right. Okay, well, the auction has finally reconciled. We had a very successful raffle and silent auction. Dave and I want to thank everyone who contributed, including our committee people, those of you who got online and bid and everything else. But I think the final tally is just short of $12,000, which we're very proud of, because there's circumstances that different circumstances that we've had. Our sponsors came through for us, the members and others came through for us. So we want to thank you all for that.
My understanding is that you're $59 short.
12,000. Yeah, you want to call me up or you?
Yeah, I know. Talk about
It's interesting that the guys in the banking industry had the $59 like always. So if you do business, what it is.
We didn't say 60, you
It's
said
59.
They didn't even round up.
All right. If anybody have any questions, again, it's a lot of work on everybody's part. We are glad to do it. Hopefully next year, with everything, all the stars lining up, we'll hopefully be back in my backyard.
Has everyone paid their hand bid invoice?
Yes.
Yes.
Ingrid is we'll be getting the check within the next week from Handbid. Everything's been reconciled, so thank you all for promptly paying as well.
Thanks, everybody.
Any other announcements this morning? Lou, please.
We got our first car show committee meeting this morning, and we have some openings for volunteers on September 5th, Labor Day weekend. We need some help with sign placement and also with traffic and parking direction help there to help park the classic cars that'll come in and the spectators that come in. I have the sign up sheet here, so anybody wants to sign up for those, let me know. Thank you.
All right. And Roberta has an announcement, I believe.
I do. As you all know, I'm collecting school supplies for Welcome Warehouse. We collected $74 today. I'm going to be collecting again next Friday. So you can bring school supplies, or you can bring however much money cash you want to donate. They put the school supplies in backpacks and then give the backpacks to the kids that can't afford school supplies. So it's for a very good cause. Thank you, everyone.
One more announcement from Claudia, but you have to come up here, Claudia. I love giving Claudia instructions.
He does, he really thinks he's the boss of me. I'm going to pass this around. It's the directory printout from Club Runner. Please take a look at your own name, email address and phone number. We probably want your cell number on here. Make sure it's accurate. We're trying to get it all updated so everybody can communicate with everybody else effectively, efficiently, and promptly. Thank you.
And if you're on the Zoom and you know how to go into Club Runner and find your information, please do that.
Or if you, yes, or email, if you think there's a problem, email me with cell and email address.
And if you want to update your picture, you can send one to Claudia and she'll put it on there for you.
Or I will draw one.
I would much rather have one drawn.
Okay, moving right along, please welcome our Sergeant, Cap Clegg.
Well, this is an auspicious start to Mike's year. We have one guest. Nikki is still a guest for the last time, so stand up, welcome Nikki. There's a big debate on your last name, and I said. it's
Oh, don't
Nikki.
worry about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. So we just know, thank you.
All right. So one of the things about being a past president is the banner. Each year, there's a banner that Rotary gives you the club, and then as your past president, you get awarded, or you take that banner with you. So looking through the closet today, I found a banner from 1919 or 2019, 2020. So whoever was president 2019, 2020.
You left your flag.
Yeah, you get to take that home, put it in your wall. So one of the other privileges about being past president is you don't have to sit up front anymore like this gentleman does. He has changed his chair. However, the gentleman before him does not have to sit there anymore. Past presidents are in the back of the room. That's a fine from not knowing where to sit after a year. Take your butt back there.
He's lost. He was on Zoom most of the year.
Doesn't count. All right, so our fines this morning are gonna be pretty honorary, so, you know, whatever you, if you feel guilty at all, your conscience gets you to this. So in the last year, as we were doing Zoom meetings, if you were driving during the meeting, if you're eating breakfast during the meeting, if you were wearing clothes that were not appropriate for in-person meetings, if you're babysitting kids, or if you had dogs barking at your house during a meeting, you owe $1 fine. So. Trying to get the sergeant arms budget covered in 1 week. So we've got $22 in the small pot. I'll let Nikki as a guest pull the ticket.
Oh, I did. Yeah, all right then. Where's Jill's number? I'm cahoots, you know.
I already hung on for the 20th.
So if you've got a blue ticket, the last 4 digits, 8203. Eight two zero three going once. Steve's got it. Steve, are you raising up your hand for that? Yep, cool. All right. All right, the large pot is $230.
Maybe Jill will get this one.
All right, 8223.
That is.
Cool.
One that was right before mine.
We're looking for the 10 of clubs. Ooh, Queen of clubs, not a winner. Thanks, Jack.
Okay, thank you, Cap. And the good news for all of you is this meeting is the meeting where you're going to have to listen to me talk the most. The rest of the year is going to be much better. I will not be speaking, but what we wanted to do today is to just talk about our plans and talk a little bit about what it is that we do and why it's so important. And I'm going to invite just a few of our committee chairs to come up and talk for a few minutes about some of the plans for the year. Let me cover the sappy stuff first. So my personal goals in doing this are, again, just to do my best. That's all I can do for all of you this year. I really, even already, I'm finding so many opportunities to build deeper connections with so many of you. And when I first joined Rotary, I found myself in the first year really kind of just trying to figure out what was going on, who was doing what, and what did I want to do. So for me, one of the things that I just want to continue to offer up to everyone is if you're not sure how you want to get involved, but you know you want to get involved, I want to help you find a way to do what you want to do. And then just trying to share information with you and be transparent. And then probably my main job is to set up Susan for next year and Ingrid for the year after that, just like Kent and Dwight and David have done so much to make sure I kind of know what I'm supposed to be doing. So we have a great succession process in the club and on the board. My goals for the club, I don't have like a major theme. I think everybody's just so happy to be back together and have these opportunities to engage that that's really goal number one, is just that reconnection and re-engagement. I think that we're also really happy to now have the opportunity to do more hands-on community service. We did a ton for the community last year, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But just this opportunity to get more hands-on. And then we have an environmental committee as part of our community services that Claudia's leading up. And just one of the goals I have is just to support that, right, and help us get that off the ground, because Rotary has environmental as one of the avenues of service. And so we'd like to start to move in that direction where we can actually make that its own avenue of service in our club. And then similarly, Rotary has an initiative around peace building and peacekeeping. So you'll hear some information coming out soon about grant opportunities from our district for anything related to peace building. And then having fun again. I think we already started having fun at the installation party, and we had our first Wine Nut Wednesdays, which was pretty well attended. And Peter will talk about some of the plans there. I'm noticing that this version of my deck doesn't have a couple of slides, but I emailed you all a version of this last night. And what you'll see if you open that file, the first couple of slides, is we had an assessment put together of all of the contributions we made over the last couple of years. And in Kent's year, this club served others with contributions of around $52,000. And that was to the community, to our educational services, and to our international causes. And that's just amazing. What is also amazing is this past year, David's year, while we had many things that were canceled due to the pandemic, many planned activities that didn't happen, we actually increased our contributions directly into our local community by almost $10,000. So we had close to $30,000 last year that we put directly into our community, all of that in response to the need from the pandemic. So the motto for this year is serve to change lives. And I think this club, right, just demonstrates year after year that we are all serving to change lives. And I think we should just take a minute to celebrate that. All right, so some specific ideas. So one of the things we're going to do this year that's just a little bit different, we think a little bit fun, is we're going to take one of our meetings each quarter. The first one is in late September. And we're going to do hands-on community service together in this room. So we'll have Claudia talk in a minute about some of those ideas. We're going to go back to something we did several years ago, and this is part of just the re-engaging and recommitting, which is doing member spotlights. And Ramona has agreed to head that up, and you'll be seeing more information from Ramona in the next few weeks about how we're going to do that, because I think we all need to get to know one another again and understand kind of what's happening in people's lives, both personally, professionally, and in Rotary. Another idea, and we can start this on August 14th, which is our next big social event, or we could do it any month during the Wine Not Wednesdays, but bring a friend, bring somebody to one of our social events. That's how I got introduced to Rotary. I got invited to a party at John Susie's house. They put a couple drinks in me. I met all these great people. And the next thing I knew, I was here on a Friday morning. So it's a great way to increase our membership. And then, as I said earlier, just I'm going to try to provide an update on the board meeting activities every month. These great people pictured here, these wonderful people, we've got just a fantastic board. I won't go through all of the names. And I know a lot of these slides are busy, but I wanted you all to have the slides, so they're in your email again if you take a look. And what I wanted us to do is just spend a few minutes and just with a few of our committee chairs, and then we'll bring the other committee chairs into some future meetings. But if I could ask Peter to come up for a few minutes and just talk about club services.
Morning, everybody. It's great to be back. It really is. And it is great to be in charge of club services this year when we get to start doing the things that we love to do every year with our social events and other fellowship opportunities. Club services has a lot of the daily things during the meetings that you guys interact with, whether it be greeters, sergeant of arms, and others. That's club services. We do the social events and also family of Rotary, which Cindy heads up. Roberta, as I mentioned, that does the greeters, and the chaplain. You know, trying to see what else. Make sure I get everybody, and of course the speakers. We just had our speaker meeting this morning. And Susan is heading up our committee on that, and we've got a lot of great speakers lined up, and we're looking, by the way, for suggestions for speakers. So if you guys know anyone who can come and speak to our club, by all means, let us know. And I'm most excited about the social committee this year. We have we had Wine Not Wednesday just last week. We're going to be having that every month. And thanks to Sue and Ramona for spearheading that. And we're going to have our first perfect party on August 14th. Hopefully all of you received the invite I sent out last night. And that's going to be at Mike and Heather's house. So we're looking forward to that. And I think the thing to bear in mind about club services is that we are here to serve you. And if you have any suggestions, things you'd like to see as far as social events, speakers, or whatever, please, by all means, reach out to me and any of our committee chairs, and we'll be happy to take your input into consideration. And if you, slide a $20 bill in our direction, we'll give it extra consideration. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Our community services committee is co-chaired this year by Bonnie and by Ramona. It is an excellent committee, lots of people. Kurt, we're excited to hear that you've just signed on to the community services committee as well. But neither Ramona or Bonnie could be here this morning, so Claudia is going to talk about some of the planned activities.
Community Services is a very vibrant committee, and everybody is welcome to join it, and everybody is welcome to come up with ideas. In the past and currently planned for this year, Community Services organizes our parade marshaling. So I think there were some people here that marshaled the 4th of July parade, and I think there's some people that were in the 4th of July parade as whatever, grand marshals or something, but I'm not sure. But we also do St. Patrick's Day. We work with the food pantry, and Dinky will be joining our club in 2 weeks. She'll be inducted, and she will certainly be bringing some more opportunities to us to serve that community. Dublin Bridges, we're looking for opportunities for volunteering as well as donating stuff and money, but actually hands-on volunteering, because that's what community service is about. Environmental committee is new, and I'm getting it kicked off. I'm looking for volunteers. Some of our ideas right now are working with the community garden at the Kaufman House. So we're working on that. We're also going to be having volunteers work on river cleanup, which is, I believe, August 21st. We're working with the city on that. There's a lot of volunteer opportunities working with Christine Nardecchia at the city. But if you have other ideas for how we can help Dublin get prettier, I mean, it's gorgeous, but we can be prettier, or environmental opportunities nationally and internationally, please bring them to me. Some of the other ideas are working with our interactors on community service opportunities. So they get involved with nursing homes and retirement villages, bringing service to those folks. It's all about service. So if you have ideas, please get a hold of Bonnie or Ramona. It's Bonnie Coley-Mailer, if you don't know, and Ramona Penland-Coyle. We like Coyle Penland. Penland-Coyle. It's the 2 women with 3 names. Get a hold of them and do something.
Thank you. Sanan, if you could please come up and join us. Sanan is continuing as our lead on New Generations.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Congratulations again. You're doing a good job. So again, Sinan Yaikin, I'm the chair for the New Generations. New Generations consist Rotaracts. Rotaracts are a young professional between ages 21 to 30 young professionals that we actually just formed the club last, Kent's term actually. And with Caitlin's help, we're doing great, amazing events. And she's actually taken it to a new level since we started. We're at 10 members and amazing ideas. We will be having a lot of events coming up within this year and next year. So thanks, Caitlin, for heading that. That's huge. That's the only young professional Rotaract club in the district right now, and we have a Ohio State Rotaract club. So we're actually heading.
It's actually being disbanded.
Oh, is it? Okay, so there's. Yeah.
We're gonna have some flow coming.
Yes. So that's Rotaract, one piece of the puzzle, and we have Interacts. Interacts are the high school and middle school students that are basically doing what we're doing, right, on their level. And Cap and Claudia doing great work there. Thank you again for both of you heading that project. And we also have Youth Exchange involved in New Generations. Youth Exchange is my biggest passion personally. I was an exchange student in Philadelphia 21 years ago. And as some of you may know, we had a couple of exchange students in the last couple of years. This year, unfortunately, Rotary International has decided to cancel or suspend the exchange program. But hopefully in Susan's term, we will have a student here visiting, and we should be sending 1 or 2 students at least somewhere in the world, right? So love changing lives there. And of course, we have RILA, Rotary Young Leaders Awards, that happens usually in the summertime. Unfortunately, due to COVID, it's been canceled for the last couple of years, but we'll get back to it hopefully next year. And if you would like to get involved with Rotaract, with Interact, with Youth Exchange or RILA, please get a hold of me. and if you want to make some changes on some young people's lives. So. All right, so we talked about putting over $50,000 and then over $40,000 back into our causes, and last year over $30,000 directly to the community. We can only do that if we raise a bunch of money. And I know Ingrid wants to raise a bunch of money this year. So let's talk about how we're going to do it.
Oh, great. Thank you, Mike. My quota keeps going up every time he talks about this, so I get a little skeptical, but thank you. No, we've had an amazing amount of money that we've raised the past couple of years, and I think it's really due to the volunteers of this club. But a key part of that is the leadership that you see from each of these committee and event leaders. You know, the time and effort that goes into Polar Bear which is going to be led by Pete again this year. The time and effort that John and David put into Pro-Am, tremendous. They're going to be our leaders again for that again next year. Thank you very much for doing that. Thank you for closing down this one successfully. Lou, what you've been doing with the car show, what started, tremendous. An amazing opportunity for us to see what we actually can do from fundraising, but also, community outreach. And Caitlin gave me some work this morning where I'll be distributing these flyers at the farmers market on Saturdays. So Lou can use all kinds of volunteer help for those events. So it's not just the event itself, but all the preparation and the planning that goes into that. And again, we have David leading a brand new parking lot opportunity with this BMI event that started, 10 years ago with Sharon Coulter. So each one of these leaders are really running these committees, counting on your participation and your volunteerism. But it's a great opportunity to see how year to year we keep these great events going, from the Blarney Bash events to what Andy's going to be doing for us with Irish Days, how it all ties together in terms of what our club can afford to do. And Susan West, thank you for passing on to me the great torch of doing this fundraising. Those are the key events, same key events that will be happening again this year. Polar Bear headed up by Pete, Andy running the Irish Day, Lou running the car show, David Williamson running the fundraising with the BMI Credit Union, and we need 3 shift leaders for those events. John and David running the Pro-Am again, and Pete being willing to run the Polar Bear. So I think that runs down a great selection of how we're going to be looking for your time and your effort and your talent. Thank you. Thanks, thank you.
In the interest of time, and I wasn't going to share this with all of you, but in the file that I sent out to all of you, you'll see our goals for the year. And you also see our budget. And if anyone has any questions about the budget, why it is what it is, or any questions about our goals, just reach out to me directly, and I'll be happy to speak to any of you about it. And if I can find the mouse, we'll just keep moving. Okay, so I've mentioned this already, and I've sent out a couple emails to all of you, right? If you are not sure how you want to get involved, but you want to get involved, just reach out to me and let's have a conversation about it, or reach out to anybody on the board, and you'll be hearing from some of our other committee chairs, board members, as we proceed for the next several weeks. That was all I had planned. Happy to spend a minute answering any questions, comments, advice. I need all the advice I can get. All right, if there's nothing else, I will end with this. I thought this was a really great quote to kind of kick off our Rotary here. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. So we'll be back here next week and on Zoom next week. Our speaker is Tammy Spade from OCLC. Everyone have a great weekend. Thank you.